right, everybody. This just in.
That was good.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Kid Free Weekend.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Jennifer.
All right, so just a real quick extra super bonus podcast here because, sadly, you were out shopping.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe you missed
Doing
this.
chores.
But I stayed home for the very important task of folding laundry and live tweeting the Bethesda Software E3 Spectacular.
Spectacular. I wish we could have gone. Wouldn't that be fun?
Well, let's see if we can get into E3 next year. That would be fun.
We are gamers. I mean, come on.
Yeah, we sure are. Bethesda is our favorite software company. There's a lot of gaming companies out there, and there's a lot of great games, but
by far, Bethesda is the best.
And I only have so much time in a day. Like,
yeah, and they take up all of our time.
Okay, so like there's this other podcast I listen to. Shout out to the Geek to Geek podcast. And both of the guys are gamers, but one of them specifically, who goes by Void on the internet, GRN Mushroom on Twitter, he seems to find time to play everything. Like he buys or tries at least demos. He does GameFly, which is sort of like the old Netflix disc service, but for video games.
I had that idea first, by the way.
Well, you should have done it. Damn it. We'd be rich now.
I know.
I never would have met you. You've been too rich for me. But like he's constantly playing all these new hot games that are coming out and giving his quick takes on them at the very least. But I just don't know how people do that. Whether it's the money or the time, I'd rather just
maybe they don't have jobs.
A game. He has a job.
Maybe they don't have family.
He has a family.
Maybe they don't spend time with their family.
Well, it seems like he does. He's trying to raise his kids to be gamers, which is a noble cause.
Maybe he has insomnia.
That could be. I've never asked. It's a good question. So anyway, I don't wind up, I look at a lot of video games. I maybe check out the things on YouTube and listen to podcasts and try to keep up with the industry.
You overall. Play games on your phone.
I cycle through an insane number of games on my phone.
Right. And
mostly
so
because
instead of doing that, they're
but
probably.
He does that too. He plays games on his phone. He plays everything.
Well, I don't know that.
I don't know.
He's superhuman.
But on my phone, I'm always looking for games that are legit, like really, really good, and it's hard to find those on mobile. So I burn through a lot of games very fast on my phone. But when it comes to console or PC gaming, Bethesda is a favorite. The Elder Scrolls games, we always talk about Skyrim.
They're so beautiful.
And the Fallout series. Not necessarily as beautiful, but intense and just a great storyline.
Right. I love the graphics.
I love that 50s feel mixed in with the post-apocalypse and zombies and all that stuff. It's just such a cool world.
I agree.
Bethesda didn't make Fallout. That started elsewhere, but they wound up buying the intellectual property when the original creators of Fallout went under.
Okay, so what are we talking about here?
So we're talking about their E3 conference, which I was going to just take some notes, and then I wound up thinking, why don't I just write some tweets? And then I wrote a lot of tweets. So we'll just run through those real quick. For any of you gamers out there, the big draw was Fallout 76. Want to know more about that? But they announced a lot of games. So just real quick, they got a new game coming out, Rage 2. Even Ragier, I think is what it's called. It's a shooter, post-apocalyptic, a lot of that going around. It looks really intense, but for me, it's not an RPG. I like the role-playing games. I like the stat and character building and all that stuff. They talked about the Elder Scrolls Legends. That's a collectible card game based on the Elder Scrolls Fantasy series. I played it a bit on my phone, funny enough. It's good. I don't play it anymore, but maybe I'll check it out again someday. The Elder Scrolls Online. Have you seen that one?
Nope.
Have we ever talked about it? Because we could play Elder Scrolls together, but it's not the Elder Scrolls games we know. It's a different system and it's online. And my only problem with that is that you could play with your friends, but you also have to play with
other people.
A world full of people with, names like BoobFart99.
And do you have to talk to these people?
You don't necessarily have to deal with them, but they're going to be around. But
can you talk to them?
Of course.
Huh.
You could, yeah.
All right.
You can make new friends and play, but it comes with a subscription fee, and that's a time commitment in my book. And
right. If you're going to subscribe, you got to play.
Right. I'd rather play the offline stuff.
When we retire.
So they got new expansions coming out for that, though, including Black Marsh, which if you play the Elder Scrolls games, that's where the Argonians come from, the lizard people.
Oh.
So that would be neat to be able to see their homeworld. I don't think it's been represented much in the original games. Though I recently started playing Elder Scrolls 1 Arena, the original game, and it looks like you can go through most of the world, and I'm looking forward to trying to see some of those places that have been elusive in the other games. I'm going to head for Black Marsh one of these days.
All right.
See some very pixely lizard people.
Good luck on your journey.
Thank you. There's a new Doom game coming. Do you remember that one from back when we were kids? It was just a craze.
Yes, I remember the song Doom. From it. I think.
Wow. It was like this hellscape on the moon or on Mars or something like that, but you were a space marine out to stop demons that were erupting out of these hell gates or something.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. Uh-huh. I think the big first shooter in video game history, the first person shooter game, was probably Castle Wolfenstein 3D and then Doom. And those were both made by ID Software. And then Quake came after that, which I think might have been made by them, but it might have just been their engine licensed. So there's new games coming out for Doom. There's a new game coming out for Quake. And there's a new game coming out for Wolfenstein 2, actually. Mm-hmm. I had to tweet about how they're putting out Wolfenstein new games, and they're putting out one that's even in VR called Wolfenstein Cyberpilot. And the guy who was doing the spiel for that for Bethesda said that they are trying to put out the message of fuck Nazis on every platform possible.
Yay!
Because that's what the Wolfenstein games are all about. They're about killing Nazis. When the last game came out, Nazis were decrying like discrimination against them. Because that's the world we live in now. They're also adding some new modes and downloadable content for this game called Prey, which is another shooter, first-person shooter, but this time you're fighting these alien mimic things that can turn into like a chair or a spoon or whatever the fuck, and you don't know where they are, but they're just waiting for you to walk by them so they can leap out and try to kill you.
The spoon's gonna like gouge your eyes out?
No, it turns into an alien then.
Oh, okay.
But it's just like a spoon temporarily. Uh-huh. And then when you walk past it and don't realize it's an alien,
it pops right into an alien.
Pops into an alien and tries to kill you.
All right.
So they got so many games. It was a much bigger panel than I expected, but then babe, you missed most of this. Fallout 76. So we didn't know anything about this. They showed a teaser trailer recently online, but it doesn't tell you anything about the game except that it's going to take place in Vault 76. Now, if you guys haven't played Fallout, if you're watching Westworld at the very least, you should check out this game Fallout 4, because I swear to Christ, like, it is the same basic premise with the hosts and the artificial people and the moral decision making that has to be done to decide what to do with these sentient robots.
Right. Mm-hmm.
The visuals. Mm-hmm. The visuals inside where those robots come from. It's insane.
Same, right. It's the same.
It's crazy. So the Fallout series, for you nerds out there, you gamers like us, they have confirmed it's set in West Virginia, where I did live like for a year, I think, of my life.
Did you?
Yeah, I don't remember anything except this one park that had this big stone turtle I like to sit on. I was like a toddler. That's about it. That's all I got. So it's set in West Virginia. It takes place 25 years after the bombs fall. Now, the other games we've played have been somewhere in the range of like 200 years. Fallout 3 and 4 were around the 200-year mark. So generations have lived and died in these underground vaults waiting for the Earth to heal. But this time around, Fallout 76, all the residents in there have been given these orders that 25 years to the day of the bombs falling and the vault sealing up is Reclamation Day. It's time to take back the Earth. Right.
They're going to fight a war of some sort?
Well, I don't know.
They said there will be fighting and there will be something else.
There's definitely a lot of nasty shit out there, and I'm sure there's player versus player stuff
but
too.
We'll retake what's ours.
But to what extent, I don't know that we still know. They did show off gameplay footage that features a lot of different monsters and scenery. Mm-hmm. I saw there's this big plantation that looks like it's from Into the Badlands, frankly, like the Poppy Farm, if you guys watch that show. There's this hulking monster. There's something that looks a lot like Gollum. There was a fucking dragon, and it was really hard to read on the screen what it was called. It was called like the something beast. I don't know. But it was this black dragon thing that was vomiting green shit on people.
Wow.
I assume it's radioactive shit and not like acid. Like a Dungeons and Dragons, this is really deep nerd stuff, but a Dungeons and Dragons black dragon spits acid at you, like instead of fire like most dragons do. And this kind of looked a lot like that, except I'm sure it's radioactive goop. But what is it? What mutated into a giant fucking dragon? Ugh.
A bird?
I guess. Or a lizard. Lizards were dinosaurs. Oh, birds were
Well,
dinosaurs.
it has to have wings.
Yeah, I guess so. So Bethesda has this, between their big franchises of the Elder Scrolls and Fallout, you can see a progression between the games if you play all of them, that like there's features in Fallout 3 that show up in like Elder Scrolls Oblivion, and then there's features that they introduced in Elder Scrolls Oblivion that show up in Fallout 4, and then there's a huge like back and forth. Like they're testing out features and then improving upon them in each future iteration of either of these games, which is fine with me as long as they're continuing to evolve. But watching that black dragon looking thing up on the screen during this Fallout 76, it looked and moved exactly like one of the dragons in Skyrim.
Well, of course, they're both built on the same backbone.
Yeah, I don't know I don't know the depths of the technical on that. They say that there's this all new rendering, all new technology going into it, to the point where he said like in Fallout 76, you'll be able to see weather systems that are all the way like down the map from you. So if it's not raining at you, you could see it raining somewhere else, which I don't think anyone's ever done in a video game before.
That's pretty cool.
So that's kind of neat, just being able to see that level of detail.
Mm-hmm.
So we see a video of the Overseer telling you to strap on your Pip-Boy and leave the vault. He starts talking about the graphics. We see a bunch of different monsters and locations and stuff. It looks pretty amazing. But here were some of the details. He says, first of all, this is what he's saying. Every human on the map, every person is a person, like a real human being playing this game. I don't know what that means. I guess that means there's no bands of raiders, just monsters. And then every person that comes in to play Fallout 76 is
They get to decide if they're going to be human or I'm sorry, they get to decide if they're going to be good or bad.
Good or bad, for sure. And it is an online game. It will have servers that you have to log into. Now, he says you can still play the game solo.
Does that mean you can go and steal from people and beat them up?
I imagine so.
That's kind of sucky.
Well, we'll see how they implement it. It could be extremely sucky, or it could be okay. The potentially good thing is that he said the servers will be featuring like dozens of players per server instead of hundreds or thousands like you would get on something like Elder Scrolls Online.
Oh.
So that might make it better. Maybe you can form a community with some of your fellow players, and you can also play with your friends. We don't know how those mechanics will work. Can you drop from one server, go to another server because your friend signed up? He says he used the term soft core survival as opposed to like a hardcore survival where, like in Minecraft, if you die in the bottom of a dungeon, you lose all your stuff. You start over, basically.
Here, you probably do the same thing.
Well, he said death will not stop your progression, but we don't know exactly what that means. But that was also where he said there's smaller servers. But they have a server farm ready to go, 100% dedicated servers just for Fallout 76 play. But he said you can play by yourself. He said you can play with friends. You can decide if you're the heroes or the villains. And it's certainly easier to make progress if you have teamwork going on. They started showing some of the cool like Vault Boy videos where it's like, here's how to survive in the world. But it's these cutesy little 50s style animations. So I hope those hit YouTube because they're not there yet, but they were pretty fun to watch. He said you're going to be able to build like we had settlements in Fallout 4. This is going to be an improvement upon that. He said you can build anywhere on the map. So anywhere you want to set up a base of some kind, you're in.
Neat.
Super mutants are there. I saw footage that included them around the same time we saw the dragon. That was distracting. And then this is where the player versus player stuff worries me a little bit. There will be nuclear missile silos on the map because there's a lot of those in West Virginia, I guess. So they're going to try to be accurate, here. And he said, quote, do whatever you want with them, unquote.
Wow.
And there was a video that shows like, if you find part of a launch code, you can team up with other players to find the rest of a launch code, and then you can launch a missile, which makes me wonder, are these worlds temporary? Can you destroy a world so much that that server has to start over again? I don't know, but I'm interested in finding out.
Who knows?
So they said you could go to their website and sign up for beta testing, but of course the website is broken now because so many people went to it. So I have not been able to do that yet.
Why haven't they learned their lesson about this?
I'm definitely going to have to order the collector's edition. It comes with a power armor helmet that you can wear. That's so cool.
I thought you had to order that separate.
Well, it's part of the collector's edition. Like, you bought me the collector's edition of Skyrim, which came with this cool dragon statue, but I can't wear the dragon statue. I mean, it's neat, but I can't wear it. So this is a wearable.
I bet they're going to run out. You better be the first to order.
I know. I already looked on Amazon, and they don't have pre-orders for collector's edition. Just the regular.
Amazon is the place you're going to go for that? I feel like you should go straight to.
I looked because the Bethesda website was fucked. So, but I feel like we're going to have to get 2 copies of this so we can play together. Like one for the Xbox and one for the PC. And I'll play on the PC and you can play on the Xbox. Maybe we could live stream it on Twitch. You and me playing together.
Oh, that'd be fun.
How cool would that be? Huh?
Sure, yeah.
But it's not coming out till November. So we got time to figure that out and hopefully we'll get more details over time.
Well, their website's working now.
Well, I'm going to go to it when we're done recording. Though we do also have Westworld to watch. So they also revealed there's going to be a mobile Elder Scrolls game. It looks pretty neat. I think you were finally in the room for that one. They're also accepting beta testing for that, which I've already signed up for because I could do that on the Android store. So if you like Elder Scrolls stuff, you should go search for Elder Scrolls Blades on iOS or Android and see if you can sign up for the beta test or early access. And what else did they have? Then they said they were going to announce some new stuff, not for this coming year, which they already announced a ton of shit, but they said a quick look at the future. And they showed this like 30-second video for something that a lot of fans have known is coming for ages. It's called Starfield, but this is the first real confirmation. It's all been speculation and rumor for many years now, but it's a brand new intellectual property. Bethesda wrote it all by themselves. It's their all new stuff. But it's going to be another kind of open world RPG, except it's in space. So planet to planet, ship to ship. That should be worth checking out, but we don't know when. We just know it's finally official. And alongside that, they showed nothing really. They showed a logo for Elder Scrolls 6. They got the font down, with like a sweeping foresty landscape and some mountains, and some music. But that's it. They didn't show anything, just that it is announced. That means, at the very least, they're working on it. And that's what we've all wanted to know. Like, Are they actually gearing up to do the successor to Skyrim because they've had so many fucking Skyrims? To which there's also a hilarious video. You enjoyed that. Keegan-Michael Key from Key and Peele.
Yes, that was hilarious.
They show this video that is on their YouTube page. So go to YouTube and look up Skyrim Very Special Edition. And you should find it pretty quick. Should be one of the first couple hits. And that is a new version of Skyrim that's coming out for Amazon Alexa. So go look that up. It's pretty fun. That's because this year they put out Skyrim for the Nintendo Switch. And this game is almost 10 years old, I think. Like 8, 9 years old. It's been out for a long time, but they keep revamping it and souping up the graphics for these new generation consoles. And it's getting a little silly. So they have a sense of humor about it, at least. And that was nice to see.
It was funny.
Whew.
You should watch it.
That was Bethesda, babe. I'm so excited for Fallout 76. I'm a little worried because dealing with other people online is not something I'm fond of, but it looks awesome.
I haven't ever really done that, so...
Oh, no.
I know.
Oh, well, be prepared to meet the worst of humanity, especially...
I will kill them all.
Because you're a girl, so I hope you kill them all. But even if you kill them all, and I've seen this in action recently... in fact, I just followed someone on Twitter for this. Let me see if I can find the person's name. Because I want to give a shout out. She seems like an awesome person, but the story is just kind of sad. Girls are not treated very well online. There we go. Anne, A-N-N-E, Anne Munition. So at ANNEMUNITION, she appears to be a professional gamer. And I saw this video that was getting passed around of her, about 10 minutes of footage of her playing an online shooter against a bunch of people. And she's on a team with these guys. and they hear her voice and they're like, "Are you a girl?" And then they start calling her names, bitch, cunt, tranny, all this shit. And meanwhile, she's kicking everyone's ass. And she comes out of that thing in first place. And they're all just like, "You can't even play this game. Oh, you suck so bad. We don't hate you because you're a girl. We hate you because you suck." And it's just all this footage of her killing everybody. And then the final score, and her character is right there in front.
That's hilarious.
And that is the kind of shit that girls have to deal with online. It is a crazy, toxic atmosphere. And I hope that Bethesda players are better than that.
Of course.
But we'll take them on together, babe. All those motherfuckers.
It's the PC people that are horrible.
Wait, really?
I don't know.
We'll spend some time playing online. We'll play some online games together, babe, and you'll learn. It's
just that every single person that I have known that is a console player has been okay and let me kick their ass anytime. And they didn't like call me any names or
well, that was a while
except for
ago.
we were fighting. You like when we're fighting, fuck you, bitch, or something like
sure,
that. But
sure. There's a new generation though. When was the last time you played Halo with some people on Xbox?
Nah,
I mean, it's
I
been
don't know, 20 years.
Was it before you had kids? Your daughter is 14.
Not before, but probably when they were 1 or 2.
Okay, so it's been over a decade since you played online. Yeah, there's a whole generation coming up, and it's the same people that are like just old enough to vote and wanted Trump in office because he speaks his mind, quote unquote. It's those kind of people. No, I'm serious. It's the 4chan people of the world that sit on these forums all day long and talk about how shitty women are, when the big problem is that they're just unlikable dicks and no women want to talk to them. It's not that women are bad. It's that they just have grown to hate women. And
why?
It's that bubble. It's
because they can't get them?
It's that noise machine. Yeah. Oh, like, gaming aside, there's the whole incel movement. Have you heard of this?
No.
The involuntarily celibate people. I can't believe
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
One of them shot a bunch of people recently, and blamed it on this anger and rage he feels because women won't sleep with him. But I mean, I've seen some pretty ugly people. If you want to just go on strictly visuals and physical, I've seen pretty ugly people still have sex and wives and marriages and kids. And
just be nice.
Just go to any convention. You'll see couples walking around that you're like, whoa, that person can get someone. You just have to be a decent person.
Right.
If you're a decent person, you'll find someone. But
right.
These guys sit in chat rooms and forums all day long, just hating everything and everybody. And that's that mentality that it feeds itself. Because you have these other like-minded people. It's the bad side of the internet.
Well, I get that. I mean, it's just like racism.
Oh, absolutely.
It feeds itself.
Right. You go to a Klan meeting, it's a bunch of people that are sure they're right, and they're telling each other that they're right, and then they just feel more right. Mm-hmm. So it's like that, and then it bleeds into the gaming world too. There's a lot of sexism in the gaming world, unfortunately. And it wasn't always there, I don't think. I never grew up with it. I never saw anyone that was mean to a girl for being a gamer. We always thought it was awesome that a girl wanted to join our group with, in Dungeons and Dragons or playing video games, whatever the fuck it was. Girls were a good thing. And I'm sure they still are in many circles, but there's very vocal populations of people that are just horrible. So we'll have to just wait and see what Bethesda does about this, or how they're going to handle chat, how they're going to handle player versus player interactions. I don't know. I have no idea.
We'll find out.
An online game, though, can't possibly support Pip-Boy, where you can VATS, the system in Fallout,
right,
where
pause.
You can freeze time, basically, or slow down time so that you can stop and aim at things. That can't be possible. But maybe they have an idea.
There must be something. I'm sure they've thought of something.
Maybe there's something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we'll see. But I'm looking forward to playing that with you.
It's going to be fun. I can't wait.
Should we buy 2 collector's editions so we can get 2 helmets, and then we can be like 2 power armor guys making out?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Make a special.
That's a little much.
No. Okay.
Well, how much? We don't know.
We got to see how much it costs.
Right.
Yeah.
It's probably $5,000.
I hope not. All right. Well, that was fun. That's it. That's all I got. The rest of E3 can just suck it as far as I'm concerned. I don't care. But I did care about the Bethesda stuff. And I know some of you guys do too. So there you have it.
There you have it.
Let's go get ready for Westworld now.
All right.
Westworld.
World.
Party time. Escalante.